everyone. Welcome to Living with Autism by Michael Lettman. Look who's back with us. It's Frank Laskowitz.
Hello, everyone. Great to be back on your channel. Great to see everyone, all the subscribers. Welcome, guys.
Okay, Frank, we shall continue where we left off. Your part 2. Please explain that, please.
Yeah, so part 2 is, I guess part 1 was just me talking about my experience at NYU Silver as an undergraduate, but I got into NYU Silver at the master's. So there's just a couple more questions that I think I can answer better now than I could have before, because technically I was still going to NYU, but now that I graduated from NYU from the Bachelor's of Social Work program, I have a little bit more I can say now.
So let's begin with your interview questions of part 2, shall we?
We shall.
Okay, your first question is, congratulations on getting into the NYU Silver MSW program. Can you give us your experience and background on how you got accepted?
Oh yeah, thank you very much for that. I'm really excited to start, social work master's in September. I got into the advanced standing program. So those of you who don't know what that is, basically advanced standing is if you have your bachelor's in social work, you only have to do like 1 year of classes. So essentially, if everything goes as planned, I'll graduate in May 2022 with my master's. Whereas other people, if you have like a degree in psychology or any other degree, it's generally 2 years to get your master's in social work. And I got into the advanced standing. And yeah, so now I guess just to talk a little bit about getting in, it is definitely a process. So for some of you, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're like, oh God, what do I do, right? Because everyone's story is different, but I think that's the biggest thing that NYU is looking for. I've attended a couple of their meetings where we get to ask admissions. I've heard from other people. I've seen on the Facebook, they have like an NYU page. And I think one of the biggest key things is, regardless if you're like brand new, fresh, you just got your bachelor's degree, 22, no experience, or, well, you will have experience because you'll have field experience. But for anybody, right? Or if you're coming back to school, let's say you're like 30 and you're coming back to college now, right? Is just to be as genuine as possible, right? Really show who you are, and hopefully you are a person that wants to help people, because that's basically what social work is all about. But in those essay questions, there's like 2 essay questions that you have to do. One is like talking about how if you help like a client or something like that, and the other one is basically like why NYU, with like a little bit of sub questions. My biggest tip is just to be yourself, right? Really talk about what makes you, right? Not what can you do for NYU, but what can NYU do for you too, right? Why do you want to go there, right? Talk about that. Like what I talked about was like, I already, I do such a great job at my current job, right? I already helped out so many people, and I think NYU can just take me to the next level, right? I really think that. And as well as me being a great asset to the community, right? To the students. Being an NYU Silver undergrad, I was able to talk with all my peers, and we all shared our experiences and our stories, and that definitely makes it for a better learning environment. So that's one of my biggest tip I could say when applying to NYU for masters. And that's basically a common trait. Like any video you look at or any thread is basically people who get in are generally people who are like just awesome and nice and caring, and they really have a goal. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to help this population. I want to do this. I want to help as many people as I can, or I want to do it on a macro setting, help, country, help a state, help a law. And you'll see that's a very commonality in a lot of the people who get accepted. So if you're somebody like that, definitely. If you're somebody that's just going to go up there and be like, I have a 4.0, I'm the masters of the chess club, I'm this, I'm that, I do that. That's great, but how are you helping the community, right? How are you helping people around you, I think is definitely what they're looking for. Diversity, stuff.
Once again, you gave some good tips for NYU.
Thank you, buddy.
Next question. You got into NYU Hunter Columbia. Which one should you attend?
Ooh, this is definitely a big question, right? Thank you, Michael. This is a question that a lot of people ask. In general, a lot of people get accepted into these 3 top colleges, right, for social work. I've friends who got into Columbia. I have friends who got into Hunter. I think personally, and from what I've heard from like admissions and stuff for NYU, is well, there's just really what you're looking for. If you're someone who is looking to stay in New York, preferably, right? You're not looking to get into debt, probably Hunter, right? Hunter is a really good college and it's not that expensive. And you still get pretty much the same experiences as NYU or Columbia. Um, with maybe very few exceptions where like, okay, this is only for Columbia students or only for NYU students, but that's really it. But essentially it's the same like type of material that you learn. And from what else, again, I advise everyone to go out, do your research. It's literally there. You can just search it up. There's so many Google forums and stuff like that, and threads, Reddit threads that ask the same question over and over. But really, and with Columbia, it's basically it's a name, right? Ivy League. You got into Ivy League. It looks so good. It looks amazing on your resume. You pretty much get a job, right? Apparently, from what I hear, the minute I graduated from Columbia, they got alumni connections. You're set. You're solid. And I mean, I hear mixed reviews about it. Some say the social work program is great. Some say it's kind of like slacking. You could say that about anything though. And for NYU, I think what holds them dear is that you can do study abroad, right? You can go across the country and travel. They have so many different locations. You also have, and I'm not getting paid by NYU to say these things, you also have, again, right? If you decide to go out of New York, right? Like, Florida, Texas, California, anywhere in the world, pretty much everyone knows Columbia or NYU. You go to like a small town in Ohio, they might look at you and be like, never heard of Hunter. I suppose it's good, right? Maybe if they call up a couple of colleagues, I'm not saying that Hunter is not good. I'm just saying that, you go anywhere in the world and, you say NYU and they're like, whoa. Just a quick anecdote, right? When I was in the Army, a lot of the Korean, when I was in Korea, in the Army, right? A lot of the Korean soldiers, some of them, when they got out, they would go to NYU. And even there, it's like, whoa, NYU, right? But you say somebody else, they're like, I'm not really too sure what this name is. But point is like, at least for me, that was what a big factor for me was, I don't plan on living in New York. So I'm counting on, right, moving out. And then therefore moving out, they'll see NYU there. It helps a little bit from what everyone says, right? Again, do your research, people who are watching this, but I think that's also a big factor. If you're going to NYU, basically, again, right, if you're going to stay in New York City or the tri-state areas, Hunter is just as good, just as relevant, if not more, maybe. It's a big name and a great social work program, and it's a lot cheaper. I mean, and some people don't care about the price, right? Some people don't care if they're going to go into $200,000 debt. They just want to go to Columbia. They just want to go to NYU, and have a great time.
I see. And I'm guessing from that question, I'm going to guess that others might ask for advice on which college they should attend. And you gave some excellent tips on that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And again, right, it really comes down to what kind of person, right, are you trying to go into, right? Columbia is known for macro. I mean, I guess they have micro and stuff, but they're really known for macro. NYU is known for like clinical work. Hunter, I think, is like a little bit of both. Again, right, people watching this, just, it doesn't hurt to do your research. Just Google it, right? There's so many different forums out there. I mean, and then also take into account the jobs, right? The living jobs. Are you getting in debt, right? Are you going to get into $100,000 debt for like a job that pays $50,000, $60,000? If, I mean, they have the loan forgiveness. I mean, you can go to become a teacher and then like apparently they pay some of that, right? Everyone has different situations, but I guess it's really up to you as an individual. What are you going to do, right? Are you okay with this? Are you not okay with this? Some people get really good scholarships, and that is also a big part. I know people who got, let's say X amount of money for NYU, but they got more money for Columbia, so it just made more sense. Right? Tuition for NYU and Columbia is pretty much almost the same, maybe like $10,000 difference. So if let's say NYU gives you 20, Columbia gives you 20, and it's only maybe like $5,000 difference in tuition. I mean, it would make a little bit more sense maybe to go to Columbia, right? If you're somebody that's like, man, I really want to get into Columbia, sure. If you're somebody that's like, I really want to go to NYU, then sure, that too.
So if someone was having a little trouble choosing colleges, you helped with that.
I mean, it's there, right? Guys, I advise you do your research. This is a big, life change for you. And if you did get into these colleges, congratulations to you guys, because that's awesome. That's huge.
You've done well, Frank, on that. Okay, your next question. Overall, how was your experience at NYU Silver as an undergraduate student?
Yeah, so as an undergraduate, I was, obviously, social work student or social work major. I went to NYU Silver and I loved it. The advisors were great. The classrooms were small. I'm actually a transfer student. I went to Kingsborough College, right, where classes are a lot bigger. So going to classes that were like from 40 to 50 to now classes that are like 10, 12, 15, it was different. And I have to say, at first it was kind of weird, but I kind of towards my senior year, I definitely got a little bit used to it. I'm not gonna lie, like my last semester, it's kind of like nice to have these small classes where it's kind of like really focused on you. You get to have the professor's attention, guys. Because sometimes when you go to these other classes, it's like you try and ask professor questions, they're like email me, because there's just so many people, or you only have like an hour, in class. But like with these classes, really focused. As an undergrad student, I really, really enjoy getting to know everybody. They're so diverse. I mean, man, I was meeting people from other areas of the world. I was meeting, not just silver work students, but social work classes are open to all NYU students. So I was meeting students from Abu Dhabi, you know, um, all over the world. And it was really cool. It was good to know. I think that if you go to NYU Silver, you'll have a good experience. I'm sure you could say the same thing about Hunter or Columbia, but I really enjoyed my time at NYU Silver as an undergrad. Um, Definitely really liked it a lot.
I see. You've had a lot of experience at that time. Okay. Your next question is, what are some questions that people ask about NYU Silver?
There's a lot of questions. If anybody's curious, there are a lot of questions. And I do field and work. I want to be placed with kids. Is that a possibility? I want to get placed here. There are so many questions right now at the top of my head to think. I can tell you right now, the field experience, if you're watching this, if you've made it this far into the video, field experience is like a hit or miss with NYU. A lot of students, sometimes they get placed where they want to be. Sometimes they just don't get it, and it can be a headache, right? Sometimes they get placed at a place that at first they might not have liked it, and then they love it. Another time they can get placed at a place where they're like, yes, I always wanted to work with kids. I got it. And then by the end of the semester, they're like, I hate this. I don't want to work with kids. And I guess that's part of the whole experience, right? But it is a lot of fun, um, you know, doing it. But I guess there's definitely a lot of questions. There's also like scholarships. I know. I guess if we're talking about undergrad, right? You generally get it when you first get accepted, but there's also the masters too, right? Masters, I know that you get a scholarship. Well, if you do, when you get accepted into NYU, you kind of get a scholarship there, right? They give you X amount of money. And then, like in the May, June timeframe, they also have a whole list of scholarships that are open up for all the master students that you can apply for. And they tell you in emails a lot, but basically, there's a small chance to get like 2 scholarships, which I'm sure helps out a lot. I saw somebody who said they got like $15,000 just getting accepted, and then they got another $10,000 on top of that. So that came out to what, $25,000, right? That helps out a lot for where tuition is almost like 60 grand. So that's great. But yeah, I guess another big question, really the biggest questions is just when it comes to field. It is so chaotic. What I think is people should do if you're watching this seriously, because they don't really talk about it much, is if you can go out, find an agency that has the qualifications that NYU is looking for, like a social work person with their LCSW, right? If this person is also CIFI certified, which means basically they can supervise you. And if it's like a population or setting that I guess kind of has to do with social work, then you're good. right? You generally need those three things. And then you reach out to the field office, you tell them like, hey, there's this agency, they have this, and that. And that's happened. It happened to me. I reached out to an agency and they took me, right? We went back and forth between the field office and them. It's happened to a couple of my friends. Because sometimes, it really helps if you do that. It also makes their lives a lot easier too, right? Because they have like so many students that they have to place. So if you can find your own location, I would advise that. That's honestly the only way you'll truly be happy. Is like if you find it, this is where I want to go, this is what I want to do, and then just send it to NYU and they'll take care of it. The rest.
I have to admit, a lot of people would ask a whole lot of questions about NYU Silver. And I guess I wouldn't blame them because it's always best to inquire so things can be clarified. Okay. Your next question is, what are some things you did not like about NYU?
That's a really good question. And since technically I'm still about to go to NYU in the fall, and there's a chance maybe they might see this video. I'm not going to throw too much shade on NYU, but I think one of the biggest things that I really just didn't like about NYU, or maybe as an undergrad, was, and it's going to be different for the masters, but like, I guess it was just that like, the professors are great. The professors are awesome, but sometimes there still is like this dynamic. Like you don't want to say the wrong thing because you feel like maybe a professor might give you a bad grade. And that was one of the biggest things that I just really didn't like. And you'll know that if you're a student that's going to be applying or you got accepted, I'm not trying to bring you down or anything. And you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But I feel like, and this is again, me talking amongst my peers too, kind of the same thing, right? Is that sometimes you might say something and you feel like, oh, like I want to say something, but I don't want it to affect my grade. I think that was just one of the biggest things that I just didn't like about NYU. Was like if I say something, professor might hate me now for the rest of the semester. And that sucks, because you obviously you want to be able to say what you want to say, but there's just that big power dynamic thing there. But other than that, I think everything else about NYU I liked. It was really fine. I think I know a lot of people complain maybe about the field experience, that like NYU should maybe give you like a Metro card so that way you can, you don't have to pay to go to your field, right? And then having to come back, because some of the other schools do that. They give out Metro cards to their students. But other than that, yeah, just those two things.
I see. You've had some struggle with your dislikes. But it's okay. You hung in there and handled your dislikes, and you still enjoyed your campus. Okay. Your next question is, why did you choose to continue your education at NYU Silver instead of the other schools?
So this is a great question. Yeah. And I can tell you guys all about it. One, I'm not gonna lie, because I went there as an undergrad, I really, really enjoyed it. Like I didn't have any problem with it. Two, it's closest to me. It's just so close to where I live. I gotta take like one train. Three, from work, same thing. From work, I gotta take like one bus and a train and I get there, right? I take like one train, the B train, I'm pretty much there. So that was a no-brainer. And three, I'm not trying to rub it in anybody's faces, but because of my scholarship and my situation, my tuition is pretty much covered. So it was just like, Columbia was a little bit out of my tuition range. I would have had to pay. Hunter, I'm not gonna lie, guys. Hunter definitely would have been great to go to, but it was a little bit too far for me because I also have, family I got to take care of. So if God forbid something happens, I need to be able to come back home quick. But with Hunter, you get into Hunter, right? And then you have to like take some classes and then apply to the social work program. So it's like kind of like a two-step process almost. And I just don't have the time for that. Like I just want to be able to get in, get out, which is essentially what the advanced studying program is, right? I got into NYU Silver for the master's. I do one semester in the fall, one semester in the spring, and I'm done. I'm graduated. That was definitely a big, big factor into it. Getting it in the shortest amount of time possible. And just knowing how the classes run. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I really, really enjoyed the professors. I really enjoyed the coursework. I learned a lot. The students were great. Made a lot of friends. They all helped me a lot. So, if you're one of those friends that helped me, thank you very much. Everybody in pretty much my classes had helped me get to where I am. Everybody in life. So, just NYU Silver just made the most sense for me.
In other words, you've had very important reasons to continue your education, and I understand. Okay, your next question is, if you could do it again, would you do NYU Silver, or would you go to another college, and why?
That's a great question. And I would definitely do NYU again, right? So if somebody's watching this, yes. But taking into account, my tuition was paid for, okay? Like I had no debt. And not trying to rub in your face, but I think that's a big factor, right? That needs to be discussed. If I had debt, if I had any type of debt, no. Heck no. God no, I would not do NYU. It's just not in my, I guess, budget, whatever. Just not for me. I can't really deal with that, with the position that I'm in. It would make my life a lot harder, very strenuous. So no. If there was any type of debt, I would not do NYU. 100%. That's just me. Father, I got family, I got responsibilities. Not do that. But however, me tuition being paid for and everything, yeah, definitely, without a doubt, it was great. But if I could do it again, right, and let's say I had to pay for things out of pocket, I would try Hunter. Everyone, without a doubt, Hunter, or maybe like another one of the other CUNY social work colleges where I don't have to pay much or anything at all. Definitely.
I see. Well, I'm happy to hear that one of the important reasons you take care of your family, which is very responsible, but you still continue your education. That's good. Okay, your final question is, any tips for people who are going to apply to NYU Silver for the master's program?
Yeah. I'm kind of like the first question, guys. If you made it this far, thank you. Thank you for watching. Um, Definitely just for those essay questions, try and be your most authentic self. And hopefully that authentic self is somebody who wants to contribute and help the world, help people, help organizations, help agencies, whatever it is, right? Talk about the struggle too, right? Are you a single parent? Did you have to raise kids? Or maybe it was just your mom who raised you and like five kids. If anything really, right? Just like maybe some things you faced. Why is it that you want to be a social worker, right? Like what made you want to do social work, right? Try and highlight that, right? What is it that about the social work world that this is what I want to do? Like I have to do this. If it's just something you just kind of, if you're gonna start off your essay with like I love New York, that's horrible. You're not right. I don't know anybody that started off their essay with I want to go to NYU because I love New York City. That's horrible. One, but like, but it happens. So try and just be yourself, right? Really, what is it? What is it that makes you? Because again, right, think about it. They're gonna have like 5,000 essays that all sound the same. I want to be a social worker because I want to help this population. Yes, we know that. We love that. But what is it that makes you special, right? What is it that really makes you just stand out, right? One thing, like try to imagine, right? If this is the only thing that you can tell NYU Silver to make you stand out, what is it? What's gonna make you stand out? And you might think, oh, I haven't done anything. Like I just graduated high school. I'm like, 18 or whatever. Technically, we're talking about the master's program, right? Whatever, 22. I just graduated. Talk about your field experience, guys. Talk about it. Whether even if it's a bad field experience, even if you're like, oh, I had a horrible boss, right? Talk about that. This is why I want to go into social work, right? I was at an agency that was supposed to help, whatever animals or people without homes, whatever the population is, right? And let's say it was horrible, right? You talk about that, right? Like I see this, and I can only imagine that this continues every day and whatever. And you want to now be a social worker to change that. You were hoping that NYU, right, can give you this education and this degree and this opportunity, so that way you can go out there and change that, fix it, right? Be the change, right? Nothing's gonna happen if you don't get up and change it, right? Can continue and continue. So that's why social workers are so important, because we make change. We go out there and we do it, and hopefully for the better. And just biggest tip.
I see. You gave some excellent tips for many others who might be applying for NYU Silver. Well, I know it's important to get their master's, and I'm sure the advice you gave them shall help with their paths.
Yeah, and again, congratulations, everyone. If you're watching this because you've got into it, or if you're applying to it, hope you get in. Hope you guys follow your dreams, and thanks for following Michael Lettman's, YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Give a comment, thumbs up if you have any other questions for him, myself.
Okay. Final statement from Michael Lettman. Everyone, I hope you understand what you've learned from this NYU student who really went through a lot in his college experiences, if you know what I mean. A lot of experience he had, and he gave you all some excellent advice. So I hope you take what you've learned from him to follow your future paths. My thanks to you, Frank, for an excellent interview.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me. I love being on YouTube channel, right? I love that you're an advocate for people on the spectrum, right? And not just that, but all people with disabilities. So thank you, Michael.
And I'm trying my best with that. Okay, to my viewers, I'll see you all next time on Living with Autism by Michael Lettman. Frank, say goodbye to my viewers, please.
Goodbye. Take care, everyone. See you guys next week or next time. Take care.
That's all.
All right.